Hello, flated friends and family and adventure lovers. Ken Hoeve here in Salida, Colorado, doing some river surfing with the air topper and the air deck. I'll share that segment coming up in the next couple weeks, but it dawned on me that about 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to put together a segment on a trip that I did 2 months ago up to Idaho and Montana. Now, this trip was near and dear to me because I love Idaho and Montana, but I also love catching big fish, surfing big waves, and also finding antlers, finding sheds. So that was the purpose of this, but I didn't want to take along a big monster rig. I wanted to get good fuel economy. So years ago, my parents passed away, unfortunately, but I still drive the little blue Kia Soul that they left me because it gets unbelievable gas mileage and brings back wonderful memories of them. But in a case like this, where it's 2,000 miles round trip and you are counting every penny, taking the Soul was awesome, but it doesn't have much storage. They only have like 21 cubic feet of storage in them, and that's exactly what the air carrier has. So by simply inflating the large air carrier, strapping it to the roof, I doubled the size of the Kia and off we went. And this was a mission to not only catch the biggest trout I could up there, but also surf one of the most iconic river waves on the Lochsa River and to find the ever elusive elk antler shed. So here's how it went. Now keep in mind, when you get great gas mileage, making these trips is a whole lot easier. And when you have the room to do it and to take all the gear, that makes it even better. And on this trip, first stop, Lochsa River, I had a lot of gear to take. I loaded several kayaks and stand-up paddleboards, wetsuits, life jackets, you name it. Everything came along with me, put it in the air carrier, and drove into Idaho from Montana. Now, the Lochsa is gorgeous. If you've never done the drive along the road, or if you've never been to Idaho, this is a place that you definitely want to stop and see. But as the river levels go over 10,000 CFS, cubic feet per second, and approach 14,000, the pipeline wave comes in. This thing is just amazing. I've been surfing river waves for 30 years, and this is one that when the window is in and you like to river surf, it is the place to go. My good buddy Derek showed up. He flew up from Colorado. He came out for just 2 days, and we packed his gear into the air carrier as well. And here's two dudes in a blue Kia Soul cruising through Idaho, getting over 30 miles per gallon, mind you. We went there, it was great, rained a little bit. We were able to hide out from the moisture by putting a tarp up over the air carrier and just surfed and surfed. Didn't see that many people, but one thing I wanted to tell people is if you've ever gone there, I've driven by this location many times. We went to the hot springs, and there, folks were like, oh, you're gonna camp? You should go talk to them at the Lochsa Lodge. They have a restaurant, and they have a liquor store, and they have gas, and all these things in the middle of nowhere. We went, it was $100 a night for a cabin. That was the off season. They have all the wood you can burn in their wood burning stove. No camping for us. We posted up in a cabin, had a great meal, let our stuff dry out, and then went back over to the river. It's like 30 minutes away to surf the next day when it was much sunnier. So that was our first stop. The next one was to catch a big fish, namely a trout. And for this, went to kind of an isolated, very cool lake. I'm not going to give the name of it out, but it's known for having big trout. Went there, threw the line, spent some time, and boom, on a dropper, caught a hog. Now, when you reel these in, it's not like, you know, just winding them and pulling lip. No, it's like a gentle game with them because they have tanks. And the one that I caught was big, but it's not as big as they get up there. So 2 missions down on this trip. But there was a third part, and this one is a significant challenge. Any hunter out there knows that it's great to hunt, but it's also, without taking any animals, to go shed hunting. And this is the act of walking around in the wilderness, and animals like elk and mule deer and deer and a number of different animals, they grow antlers, and then once a year they fall to the ground, and it is like a redneck 4-leaf clover search or an Easter egg hunt. You walk around for miles and miles looking for these antlers that have dropped. Now, I have always wanted to find one of these iconic antlers that fall off of elk, off of bull elk. I mean, they get huge, like 5 feet, weigh, you know, just a lot. They're massive. And I felt this was the year I was gonna find one, but I didn't find one. But I'm not that disappointed, because in the course of hiking over 14 miles in a couple days, I found this, a deadhead of a whitetail buck, an 8-point, out in a pasture, in this random area, walking along, huge storm rolling in, and there it was. And the significance of this, for people that aren't hunters or aren't familiar, is that although the animals, in this case a whitetail, will drop their antlers once a year, this one died of some cause, maybe caught by a predator, old age, I don't know, but his entire skull was intact. And I found it, and that is very cool. It is now a piece of beautiful natural art at my house in Colorado, and I look at it and think how awesome it is that this trip went down like it is. But I saved the best for last. If you are ever in Helmville, Montana, I'm going back to Montana now, there is a bar and restaurant there called the Copper Queen. It is legendary. And I share this because the people are great, true locals, the most hardcore cowboys you've ever seen. If you think Yellowstone has cowboys, no. The people at the Copper Queen laugh at them. Just walk in there. But I share this with you. Travel is great because you go to places, you walk out of the front door of the Copper Queen, and you look for miles at the vast Montana plains, wilderness, the mountains in the distance. There is literally not one other building around this. And then you go back in, you listen to country music, and you talk to good people. That's it. I wanted to share Montana with you. No script, no nothing, just tell you how it was, and that I did it in my mom and dad's blue Kia Soul, $240 round trip. It was the best trip I've ever had, and it's rare that you can drive a car like that into Montana and Idaho and be like, yeah, I fit in, because I was able to fit all the gear in, everything I needed, into the air carrier. And then when I was done, took it off, rolled it up, put it on a shelf. All right, that's it. I'm going surfing now. A couple weeks from now, we'll have another video up of doing a quick trip in the air topper and the air deck to go river surfing in Colorado. That's it for now. Thanks, guys.